the 60s over in England was through volunteers.
Right.
And volunteers can sit with patients while giving a caregiver a break. Caregiving is a very difficult thing to do. It's very hard on a caregiver, even though it's something they know they want to do and love to do. But sometimes they need a break. Sometimes they need to go and get their hair done or just take a bath or a nap.
Right.
And so caregiver breaks are very vital, and we need volunteers for that. Sometimes some folks just maybe live by themselves, but they need somebody to talk to.
Right, exactly.
And so companion volunteers can go out, maybe play checkers, read the Bible, read a book, just general conversation.
Right.
And then we have volunteers who can make prayer blankets or lap blankets. We have volunteers who may want to stitch walker bags.
Right.
You know, people need a bag to put on their walker or their wheelchair or their hospital bed, and they can put their remote control, their books for reading or something in those bags. So we need folks to make those things too.
That's good. You know, you're helping people, and we need to let people know this is not just for the old or the elderly. There's people that in their teenage years or middle-aged years that need hospice service, diagnosed with cancer. Children sometimes can need the hospice.
Definitely. And we do have a Daniel's Care program, which is our pediatric program, and that's for young infants all the way up through 21 years of age. And a lot of those maybe were born with cerebral palsy. They may have other physical or genetic conditions that they have been born with, even cancer, leukemia. So we have patients in those age ranges with those diseases and conditions, and they do not have to be life-threatening or life-ending. They can be life-altering.
Right.
So they can continue with their chemo and radiation or maybe surgeries. Those children can continue with those treatments because it is a very difficult time for patients and for children and their families, and it's a very expensive time. So we're there for the pediatric patients also.
And speaking of expenses, like people's medical expenses, how's that covered through Medicare, Medicaid?
Yes, we have Medicare, Medicaid. Some private insurances do have a hospice benefit.
Okay.
Veterans, a lot of veterans don't realize at this time that there is a hospice benefit to their veteran through the VA.
Okay.
So if they go through the VA system, there is a hospice benefit also. We don't turn anyone away because they don't have insurance or they don't have any money.
Right.
That's the wonderful thing about
that is great.
that. You know, we have a program that pays for that care. No one is turned away.
Oh, that's so good. That's very good. You know, there's a lot of people that's hurting, a lot of families, you know, when this time comes to them, you know, they're in distress, they're hurting. And just to think that they couldn't get help or get services, that would just add to it. So.
True, very true. And that's one thing, another component to my job. I wear many hats.
Okay, tell me about those hats.
But besides the volunteer piece, that's one of the things that I do is recruit volunteers and train them and send them out to the patients. But, you know, I do the advertising and media also, but fundraising and talking to folks about donations.
Right.
You know, somebody has to pick up the slack where Medicare and Medicaid leaves off. Right. And we also need to pay for services that we offer that are not covered under Medicaid and Medicare. So, you know, we also take donations. And that is a wonderful part of what I do is talking to people and letting them know that if they want to do that, what they can specify their donation to go to. Right. They can ask for it to go to our Daniel's Care program. They can ask for it to go to our bereavement program. We have a bereavement counselor in all the sites, and they help patients and families with the grief that they're going through or the grief that they're about to go through. Right. Because it starts when they find out that a loved one is dying. Yes. Yeah. So it starts then, and then the counselor can come out and she talks to them, provides resources and all. She also talks with children. A lot of children now are going through a difficult time with losing their own parents or their grandparents. And so our bereavement counselor helps with that. But there are, those programs are not covered under Medicare and Medicaid.
It's so good to even have a counselor, just somebody to talk to, somebody to encourage you and help you through this. Of course, it's a hard time. It's a fact of life, and but if people can be encouraged or helped in some way, it goes a long way.
It does.
It really does.
And they need to know what to expect.
Right.
You can have from one end of the spectrum to the other in emotions.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody's going to feel everything differently. And they're going to go through a phase of that differently also.
Right.
So that's another thing, is letting the families know what to expect and, a time frame. There's no time frame, but they can at least get an idea of, oh, I'm going through this now. Okay, now I'm going through this.
Right.
And it's okay to be angry. It's okay to cry. It's okay to go through those gamut of emotions. That's normal and natural.
Very good. Now, on your nurses and stuff, all those are certified nurses?